Hello and welcome to Cupcake Addiction's fondant or modelling chocolate Lego topper tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to make these gorgeous little Lego piece and Lego man toppers. You can use them as I have today to top your cupcakes. Otherwise you can use them on larger cakes, use them for absolutely any Lego event that you're having. The things that you'll need for today's tutorial include some wax paper. You're also going to need some fondant or modelling chocolate. So when you're thinking Lego, think primary colours. I've got green, yellow, blue, red and a little bit of black. I've got an edible marker, but you can also use some food colouring, a sharp knife and a paintbrush. I'm using just a little bit of tap water. And for this tutorial, I've gone with silicone Lego molds. So these ones are really widely available on eBay. I paid about $7 for them posted and they come in the set of two. So one of the Lego men and one of the little Lego pieces. You can get Lego molds from a lot of great retailers, but if you know you're going to be making these, I recommend grabbing them on eBay. They're really cheap, really easy to find. So what you want to do with these silicone molds, because they are traditionally for chocolate and we're using them for fondant or modelling chocolate today, is you want to make sure that you're really getting into all of the little grooves and indents with your fondant. So just take your fondant and roll it into a nice, tight, seamless ball so that you don't have any little lines or ridges or anything in there. And then roll it out into the rough shape of your Lego mold. Doesn't matter if it's a bit bigger, it's better to be too big than too small. Pop it over the mold and then use quite a bit of weight and really shove it in. You want to make sure that you're shoving it right in there so that it's getting into all of those little cracks and crevices. And you'll see I'm giving it a really good pat down. Then you want to take your knife and you're just going to trim the top. Make sure it's a good sharp knife here. And it'll mess up the back a little bit, but then you just want to just pat it down so that you've got a really nice sort of a back edge. Now for these little Lego men, we're going to do some chopping and changing of our various colours. So I like to make like 4 in yellow, 2 in black and 2 in red so that we can chop and change, but you are going to use a lot more of the yellow than you're going to use of the other colours because all of the heads and all of the arms are generally going to be yellow. If you love these cupcakes, make sure that you check out my Monday video, which is going to be a giant Lego cupcake, and we will have your Lego party absolutely sorted. All right, now while we're still working with that yellow, before I continue filling those, I'm going to use my remaining yellow to fill in the Lego mold. Now these little dots here are where you're going to have problems, and these are going to be the ones that aren't going to fill in. So you really want to make sure that you are shoving that fondant as hard as you can into these molds. Make sure that you're wiping your knife in between colours so that you're not getting yellow on your blue and blue on your yellow and all that. And once again, just neatening off those little brick edges. All right, now before I do my little red and black bricks, I'm going to use some red and some black. So as I said, I'm going to do 4 of the yellow, 2 of the red and 2 of the black. So I've filled both of my Lego molds. So I've got all of my different bricks in assorted colours. I'm now going to put these off into the freezer and they're going to go into the freezer for about 20 minutes until they are completely frozen solid. All right, so coming out of the freezer, and these are rock solid set. You want to work quite quickly here because fondant thaws quite quickly. So as you pull those out, you just want to peel away that silicone and you're just going to extract them from that mold. There's your little Lego block. Now on some of these, not every single one of your little divots are going to be perfect. So your little Lego tops, that one there's just broken off as I've pulled it out. Don't worry because we're actually going to cut these up to create all of our different shapes and sizes. So just extract them as carefully as you can. And if they are breaking off, if you're having that happen more than once or twice, it might just be that they're not quite frozen all the way to the bottom. So pop them back in the freezer for another couple of minutes. Beautiful. All right, now you want to work relatively quickly here because your fondant's going to start to sweat almost immediately and it's going to get sticky. So you want to take any of your bricks that you're happy are perfect. So I'm happy that my yellow is perfect, but I don't have a lot of yellow in there. So I actually want to separate that up so that I'm going to have a nice amount of colour. I'm going to cut it into 2 2s and a 4. You want to cut this while they're still frozen because if you don't, it's actually going to push the fondant out of shape. So just cutting it nice and firm it will be. And you can just neaten up any edges with your fingers and then rest it on your wax paper. You definitely want to rest it on wax paper here because if you don't, as it starts to thaw out, as I said, it will get sticky and it's going to stick to whatever surface it's on. So really you're just chopping your Lego up now to make all of your different sized bricks and your different sized pieces. Particularly when you're working with black, make sure the black is the last thing that you touch and that you have a cloth because black fondant always sweats and loses a lot of colour, so it's going to make your fingers quite dirty. These ones here are going back into my Ziploc bag and they're going to be recycled into new Lego bricks. All right, now with your little Lego men, once again, you want to work relatively quickly here and maybe just pull out a couple at a time to work with. So just pull them out exactly the same as we did with our bricks, just extracting them from that silicone mould. And pop the rest back in the freezer so that they stay nice and cold and nice and firm. So now you want to perform a little bit of surgery on our Lego men, and we're going to cut them up. So you always want your Lego arms to be the first things that you cut off. Cut those yellow arms and the yellow head from your little yellow man. Feel a bit sorry for the yellow ones because they're always just body parts. Now over here you can cut the same off the red. These little parts will start to thaw out really quickly here, so make sure that you're working as quickly as you can. Beautiful. All right, so now that we've dissected our poor little Lego men, we're going to stick them back together, but we're going to stick them back together in all their different colours. So I'm going to do one with black legs and a red body, and of course his yellow head and his yellow arms. We're just going to use a tiny little bit of water to stick that together, and not too much. So a little bit of water on the base of our red body, and try not to handle it too much because as you handle it you'll be thawing it. Simply push those legs up, a tiny bit more water on the top, and push that little head down, and then a little bit of water down each side. It's going to stick on your two arms. Of course you can leave these as just plain yellow Lego men, but I think they look a little bit better when you've got the differentiation of colour. To pick those up, just use your knife, pick them up and pop them over onto your wax paper to set. For your next one, you might want to do the red legs and the black torso, once again with the yellow head and the yellow arms. Now, as I mentioned, that fondant will sweat and it will get sticky. So you want to leave these off to the side. You can leave them off to the side for about 20 more minutes or so. And as you leave them to the side, they're going to get wet, they're going to get sticky, and then they're going to dry out. Once they dry out, like these little guys that I made a little bit earlier, then you can take your edible marker and just give them a little bit of face detail. Don't throw out these other little sections. You can just pop those back into your fondant bags and you can reuse those for your next little Lego molds or for your next fondant project. So for our little Lego faces, either an edible marker or a little bit of food colouring, and you just want to give two eyes and a little mouth. You can change your expressions, you can have your little Lego people sitting, you can change your colours. This is just our basic little Lego man. So you can see here I've displayed these on cupcakes just using our flat top frosting style of swirl, so I will leave a link to that in the description box below. And I've also, because I love you guys, created some really cute little printable Lego cupcake wrappers. So I'll leave a link to those in the description box below. You've got green and then you've got multicolored, just to take your little cupcakes a little bit over the top. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure that you catch Monday's giant Lego cupcake tutorial, the perfect accompaniment to these gorgeous cupcakes. And as always, thanks for tuning in to My Cupcake Addiction.